Okay, shalom, shalom, kwam yasha'Allah, kuloyim la Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakahakodash, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. The by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth, and just want to say the water toward the H.I.M, Aqua. That's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. Jachana Nawaf, just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And want to touch on this article right here. And CNN, well, it was on the news, CNN. I'm going to play the video. We can get it to go. But it says U.S. doctors warn gun violence across the U.S. is like a disease. And we understand that the maker of the guns are the disease. That nation of people that are in control of the sword are the disease, man. Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof, if not, wherein who is he? So who's in control of gun laws? Who's in control of who can get their hands on the gunpowder? Who's in control of who can actually make guns? You know, what race of people is that? I mean, come on, man. Now you might say, oh, well, all nations got that. Well, all nations do have that now because they really had to get it to protect themselves from this particular race of people that goes throughout the earth and mess with everybody. You know, you got to have some type of protection against this, man. You see what I'm saying? Because had the so-called Native Americans had this kind of technology, so to speak, they wouldn't have lost to this particular race of people like that. And I know you know who I'm talking about. But let's play the video. And it's something that I'm going to point out in this video, too, because these so-called white people, man, they are so goddamn deceptive and crafty, man. You have to really watch out, man. You have to really pay attention to how they get down. See, our people don't understand that we have enemies. These people are enemies of ours. And they place a bad light. They just show us in a way that is completely destructive, man. And it's all planned. But let's play the video.
A stunning number this weekend in the US. At least 95 people died from shootings, according to the Gun Violence Archive. Some doctors now say gun violence is like a deadly plague in America, and children are often the victims of the disease. CNN's Josh Campbell has the story.
This is the #1 cause of death of American children, which is just unacceptable and astonishing.
Those on the front line saving children's lives, fed up with America's gun violence epidemic.
To you, gun violence is a disease.
Yes, and the country is the victim in this case.
The outrage felt by pediatrician Dr. Nicole Webb on display across the country this past weekend as demonstrators took to the streets demanding an end to the endless gun violence ravaging the nation.
Enough is enough.
Let's take it upon ourselves to inspire action so that students across the country can worry about homework and tests, not gun violence.
National Gun Violence Awareness Day began after the brutal killing of 15-year-old Hadia Pendleton on a Chicago playground in 2013. Murdered 1 week after marching with her school's band in a parade celebrating Barack Obama's second presidential inauguration. Pendleton's mother speaking out.
There have been thousands of other families that unfortunately have joined this fraternity that no one wants to be a part.
But tens of thousands more have been impacted since her daughter's death. More than 18,000 people have been shot and killed so far this year. The federal government calling gun violence a public health crisis. And while guns are often politically polarizing, most Americans surveyed in a recent CNN poll agree gun control laws should be stricter. American health professionals say common sense, evidence-based safety efforts should not be partisan at all.
States with red flag laws see fewer high-profile mass shootings. States that have closed loopholes in the background check system see fewer shootings involving illegally obtained weapons.
A recent troubling trend, guns in the hands of children. In recent weeks, at least.
Okay, now, that's what I want to get to right here. Now, check this out. Now, we do understand that, yeah, Jake, the so-called blacks are you know, just vicious towards their own people, but we understand that that is a part of the curses that we're under. And generally, when our people are doing stuff like that, you know, is really just silly ass shit. But a lot of the times, Jake be, they feel as if they have to protect themselves. Now, but the point that I want to make is, out of all the people that they would show, they're going to show the so-called black race as the problem with the guns, when all these fucking school shootings that's been done have been nothing but the so-called white race, man. So-called black kids are not going to school and shooting up every fucking body in the school, man. They may get into a squabble with somebody and they're after whoever it is that they're beefing with. They don't go and make a damn list and got a fucking itinerary and they've been practicing and go online and go live and just run into a school. That's the so-called white man. But who do they put on TV to make it seem as if it's the problem? See? But let's get to the core of the problem. Why don't you just get to the source of the problem? You're the ones making the guns. You're the ones that's in control of the policies. You're the ones that's in control of the laws. And then you're in control of the radio stations that's playing the music that the kids are actually imitating. You can shut all that shit down at any point that you want to. Every movie that you allow so-called black people to make is nothing but gangster shit. You know what I'm saying? So you push, and that's what I say about crafty counsel, man. This man is crafty as hell. Let me get a quick scripture real quick. All these damn school shootings, all these damn white kids shooting up fucking schools, and they'll put the little Jake on TV like they the problem. The hell out of here, man. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. See, we're not ignorant of the fact that the so-called white man, he's going to always push blame from him to us. That's going to always happen. They're never going to be, you know, accept their part in this shit, man. The last thing they want, because every time you hear school shooting or shooting, mass shooting in general, just those words, mass shooting, first thing that pops to your mind is a so-called white man done it. Or a so-called white kid done it, man. That's just like this guy that shot up the supermarket up there in New York or whatever. You know what I'm saying? With all the that he ran in there and killed up all these so-called black people. Why you couldn't show him? You just had this guy here where I live at. He shot up a damn school and killed a bunch of kids. Why didn't you show him? Why didn't you show the so-called trans lady that ran into the Christian school and shot up the damn school? Why didn't you show her? Why didn't you show the Dylan Roof guy that went off into the so-called black church and shot up all those people that was in the church down south? Why didn't you show him? You see? Come on, man. Why? But we get it, though. Let me get this again. 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of how this man gets down. See, this is why it's so important to get into the scriptures, so you can know your enemy, so you can know how your enemy gets down. This is a tactic of an enemy, man. The so-called white man is not your friend, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They're going to always throw you under the bus. Here you go. This man goes throughout the planet killing people with these fucking guns, man. They're mass producing these guns on a mass level. But who did they show? The so-called black kids, right? Because they can easily stop making guns. They can easily stop making bullets. Shit, if they really care like that, they could easily just go ahead and tap on every door. Shit, they raid Jake houses. Shit, you know? They all about, you know, let's save the world. But in the meanwhile, in the backdrop, it's them that's causing all the damn problems and don't want to admit to it. So Salaki on that, man. Let me go back into this, because this is crazy, man. I seen that shit. I was like, well, damn. Come on, man. You're not trying to tell me this is not crafty counsel. This is what this man does, man. Matter of fact, let me get that scripture real quick. Psalms 83, because these people are the enemies of the Lord. Let's go into the book of Psalms chapter 83 real quick. Let me start. I'm just going to get to the point. Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. And the people that's being spoken of, the hidden ones that's being spoken of here, are the Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They're going to always conspire against you, man. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And that's going off into them calling you blacks African Americans, Hispanics, all these goddamn bywords. They're not going to call you an Israelite, which they know who you really are. They going to put you on TV and make you look like, that's the reason why when you typically look at their news, they generally try and show our people in a bad light. But as of late, they haven't been able to help themselves with showing themselves, because the scripture does say, let's get this one, Psalm 64. So a lot of shit been coming out on them, and they haven't been able to hide it, and especially with this internet, because see, people are starting to do their own damn news. You know, people are opening up on their own channel, so to speak, you know, with their own social media accounts. That's where a lot of the real news is coming from the people. Psalm 64:8, it says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. See? So that's the reason why you're starting to see a lot more of them. And it's all about money and likes and shit, because they're just trying to get people to watch the channel and, you know, get money from advertisement and all this other shit. But still, if it's a story, see, back in the days, they used to kind of hide a little bit of stuff. They'll just, you know, kind of put a little paragraph in a newspaper or some shit, such and such, done such and such. But now you can actually see the so-called white man on the news being the fucking treacherous guy that he really is. Just straight up, man. Because this right here is just straight crafty counsel. I don't care what nobody say. Let's see. Let's get some more.
At least 9 teens arrested for bringing guns on campus, including a Phoenix student arrested with an AR-15.
The most helpful thing anyone can do is store their weapons securely. Your child may be comfortable around the gun. It may even be something that you purchased as a gift. It may be something that's really important to your family. They have a bad day at school. They're feeling down, and you know, they make a decision that they can't recover from.
But even basic evidence-based safety efforts have drawn the ire of America's gun lobby.
The NRA said in this tweet that someone should tell self-important anti-gun doctors to stay in their lane. How do you respond to that?
The only lane that matters is safety. Every American citizen should be free to live their life without the fear that they might be shot to death.
Are you anti-gun?
No, I'm not. Anyone who's actually really interested in what is going to keep a majority of people safe is not going to take that approach.
And while major national reforms remain stalled, the killing continues. Doctors have a grim analogy.
The story goes, somebody's sort of sitting, having a picnic by the river, and you start noticing a body floating down, you know, stream. So you fish it out, and, you know, you resuscitate that person, and then a few minutes later, there's another one and another one. Pretty quickly, you stop trying to fish the bodies out of the river, and you go upstream and try to figure out why they're ending up in the river in the first place. So we know gun violence is preventable, and yet we keep focusing on treating the aftermath.
Josh Campbell, CNN, Los Angeles.
Well, we know the reason. We know the reason. The scriptures talks about what the reason is. And first off, the Lord, he's the one that's in control of all things anyway, because he's the one that kills and makes alive. No one is going to stop any of this shit unless the Lord wants it to be stopped. But there is a man that's the wicked that's on the planet, and it's Esau, Edom, and that race of people. And that's the biblical name for the so-called white man. And this is one of the reasons how we can tell who this man is. When you go off into Genesis chapter 25, first off, the scripture says that he came out red, because they're not actual white people. There's no one out here that look like a glass of milk. They're pinkish to reddish in color. There's no such thing as white people. There's no such thing as black people. There are just different shades of red people on the planet and different shades of brown people on the planet. But they came up with that white and black shit, calling people yellow and all this other shit. Anyway, I'm going to just start at 23. Genesis 25 and 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. This is going off into Esau, Edom, and Jacob, the twins. Esau came out red, man. And the scripture says that there will be 2 manner of people, 2 separate nations shall come from her womb. Though there were brothers, they still had 2 separate spirits as to how they were gonna be in the world. Verse 24 says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, see, all over like a hairy garment, and they call his name Esau. And then they got another name for him, Edom. Let me see. It's going to tell you how he got his secondary name. Now, this goes off into where he sold the birthright, you know, for basically some food that wasn't all the way well done. It wasn't cooked. And that's another indicator, too, because Esau Edom, the so-called white man, it's nothing for him to eat a goddamn bloody steak like it's nothing. So-called blacks, they're not going to do that. Now, you got some that will because they've just been westernized. But generally, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we want our goddamn food done and well cooked, especially when it comes to a steak or meats. We're not eating no bloody ass hamburgers, man. Jake gonna throw that shit back at you, but they'll eat it. As a matter of fact, they mad at you because you cooked it too long. They sear that shit on one side, sear it on the other side, and then they put the knife to it, man. So it's nothing for them to eat food that's not done like that. They don't have no seasoning. They don't have no flavoring. See, we are the salt of the earth. The scripture says that we are the salt of the earth. That's why we got flavor. We got swag with everything that we do. You see what I'm saying? But it says, this is where he basically, he was faint and he was hungry. Verse 29, it says, and Jacob sowed pottage. And Esau came from the field and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. See? That's where he got his secondary name from. And let me see at verse 25 again. The first one came out red looking. This is the NLT or the CSB, Salakia. The first came out red looking, covered with hair, like a fur coat, and they named him Esau. And that's the so-called white man. You see some of them, man, redder than just looking like brake lights on a damn ambulance. Hair hanging all out the collar of their damn shirt. Hairy ass arms looking like a fur coat. Come on, man. This is them. Now let's go off into chapter 27 to see where he was gifted with that gun, man, or with the sword, basically. Where's that at? Salakia, bear with me here. Now this goes off into the blessing. If you're familiar with the story, our forefather Isaac was basically, he knew that he was going to pass away soon. He knew that his time was about to come. So he basically told Esau, go out into the field because he's a cunning hunter. That's another indicator that we know who this man is. The scripture says he's a cunning hunter. And nobody hunts like the so-called white man. The so-called white man, they hunt fucking animals for sport, man. They'll hunt a lion. They'll hunt an elephant. They'll hunt a hippopotamus. They hunt men. They'll hunt your ass down. They're experts at hunting, man. That's another indicator that we know who this man is. But anyway, our forefather told him to go out and basically get some venison, go out and hunt for something and, whip up one of them good meals or whatever for him before he passed away, because he was the oldest. He would get the blessing. But he had done already sold it. Basically he had already done given it up to Jacob anyway. So it was by the spirit that Jacob got his blessing. But he was blessed with the sword and the fatness of the earth. So let's get it. Verse 39. Let's get verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me even also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven above. That's another indicator that we know who this man is. He lives in all the best places on the planet. He lives in the best places on the planet. This man, I was just out. It's a neighborhood here, all over America and throughout the globe, wherever so-called white people are, they have an affluent neighborhood. They have a neighborhood with fucking mansions in them, basically, right? And I had done a run at the plantation, and I was out in one of these particular neighborhoods where it's just nothing but them. Man, when I tell you, man, these goddamn houses, man, 5, 6 floors to some of these houses, man, spiraling down off the back of their house to the staircase to the boat, because they're always on the water somewhere. They're always living somewhere near a lake, or they like stuff like that. That's the fatness of the earth. And then, not to mention, they have all the resources in the planet. Where the hell you think the resources come from for them to actually even melt down the materials to make guns and bullets? They're in control of all that stuff, right? So it says, and by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. But he was blessed with the sword. And this man been running throughout the earth since he's been in power, just terrorizing everybody, man, with his weapons, man. Now these other nations, now we're living in the last days where these other nations, they've gathered up some weaponry themselves. But see, like Russia, those are Edomites too. Ukraine, those are Edomites too. But we talking about like people like China, North Korea, all these different them damn Ishmaelites that's over in the east and stuff like that. They done gathered up on some weapons too, and now they like, fuck America. That's just like you got this thing going on right now with China basically cutting off one of America's naval boats over there in Taiwan, in the Straits of Taiwan, I think it's called. So these nations are like, hey, we'll fuck with you now. We'll get at you now. We got the gun too. See, it's no fun when the rabbit got the gun. See, America been running throughout the earth, but see, they're so greedy. This shows you how stupid this man is, because they're so greedy. They've actually sold their technology to other nations when they should have kept it to themselves. That way they could have just basically had complete power. Now these other nations, done took the blueprint, and China is the fucking bootleg king. China would make a pair of Jordans, sew a pair of damn Jordans in his living room and make them look just like the original Nikes. This man, so he bootlegged the shit out them weapons. You see? So now we're in the end days. All this shit is coming down to an end. And Esau is looking silly as hell, man. But that gun violence is not going anywhere, because you have to realize that you have wicked rulers. And the scriptures talks about when a ruler is wicked, the damn subjects are wicked. The people are wicked, man. Look at this place. This place is wicked as all hell, man. And it's only going to get even more wickeder. That's like I was listening to the brother from GMS, Birmingham. I think he was down in Orlando with the brothers down there, and he said something that was just profound to me. He was like, imagine NBA YoungBoy being a granddad. Like, for real, just imagine that. This motherfucker got grandkids. Can you imagine if the way that he is right now? Can you imagine what his kids and then his kids will be like? We can't take another generation of this shit, man. Hey, we need out of here now. And that's how we know Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man, is making the move, man. It can't be much longer, man. This place is too damn wicked for this place to continue on for another 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 fucking years, man. It's too wicked. It's too wicked. And if the so-called white man if he's not taken out of power, nothing will survive, man. Nothing will survive, man. This man been running throughout the earth with that sword for a very, very long time, blundering, just murder, kill, man. Bunch of damn deletions, man, all over the planet because of this man. Everywhere he goes is nothing but that. And he comes all in the name of peace and democracy. Oh, we love you. We need to save your country. We need to save you from these inhumane governmental people that you have, and all this other shit, man. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on that, man. I pray that this lesson was edifying with that. Kwame Yashala.